The Power of Love, Episode 6. I know you must be wondering what is happening. You must be asking yourselves what is going on. Well, you're about to find out. Sharon said as soon as she stepped into the hall and surveyed it like a supervisor. She walked majestically to the stage where Goej was standing. Ella joined them because she was very curious to hear whatever Sharon was going to say. There was so much tension in the air and every one of them could feel it. Sharon deliberately kept them waiting before starting to talk because she wanted the two siblings to feel the tense moment more than her. Well, I know you have sharpened your ears, so I will spill the beans. Sharon said. She sat on the table where George arranged his musical equipment. She reached for her handbag and brought out a bottle of wine and a cup. She poured some of the red wine into the glass cup and took a sip like a queen about to address her loyal subjects. Everything she was doing was bespoke and smart of great confidence. This made George and Ella highly uncomfortable. They expected her to be sorrowful, but she was acting as if she just won a prize. I have seen the video you are playing on the screen. I guess you wanted to cause me a huge embarrassment on my wedding day. You wanted to use those videos to bring tears to my eyes and make me a laughingstock in this town. You wanted to punish me for breaking your heart. You wanted to show me the difference between Abe and Abe. But here is the shocker, there is no wedding. Sharon said with a sarcastic smile on her face. At that point, Goej and Ella had become even more curious with their hearts pounding, GBIM. They both wanted to talk but didn't know what to say. Sharon had successfully established leadership in the conversation and they had no option but to listen to all she had to say without having the opportunity to defend themselves swiftly. They have been disarmed. Yes, there is no wedding. I planned this. And it is actually good to see how far you and your family could go to hurt me. Sharon said. Ella wanted to tell Sharon that she started all the trouble, but she could not find the words. She continued to keep quiet and listened attentively like a house girl listening to her madam. It feels very good to see how far you can go to see that my life is destroyed. This shows that you never loved me. Sharon said. The things she was saying were hurting George, but he swallowed the whole stuff with the heart of a man. I didn't break your heart. It was all a test and you failed woefully, George. You failed because I thought you were going to pass this simple test. I used to brag with your name anytime I'm with my friends, but it seems I was wrong to have trusted you so much. Sharon said. She could not control her emotions anymore, so she started crying. She dropped the cup of wine on the table and stood up to face Goej, who by then had found his voice. You call this a simple test? I trained you in school and you graduated and told me you were not going to marry me. What were you expecting from me? You expected me to roll out the drums and dance. You expected me to roll out the red carpets and throw a beautiful party. You caused me a lot of pain for God's sake. I had to do something to hurt you back. George said. He was practically shouting. If I did not have self-control, something bad would have happened. You should thank your stars that I'm a peaceful man. I sacrificed a lot to see you through school. I even refused to train my sister here because I was training you. Then you told me I was not good to be your husband. You told me to my face that you were not going to marry a primary 6 graduate. Were you expecting me to clean cups in jubilation? You broke my heart with impunity, and here you are saying you never did, that it was a joke. This makes me feel really worse right now. I mean, how could you crack such an expensive joke? George asked with a lot of anger. I trained you in school. 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 I sacrificed everything for you. I trained you in school and I deserve to marry you. I'm good enough to be your husband. George kept shouting with a very loud voice. At that point, he started crying. That's exactly the point. You think you trained me in school and then you own me. You don't own me. You think you trained me in school and then I'm now like a piece of property you purchased from the open market. Sharon asked. Ella was still watching with a loud silence. So, if I can't marry you, what's the benefit? What's the need of training you in school if at the end, another man would reap the benefits of my hard work? George asked. Look, George, Sharon said with a calm voice. She was now ready to settle the whole matter and end the conversation before George gets really angry. You have the right to feel you own me or that you are entitled to carry me around like a piece of property. Given all you have done for me, I think nothing is too much for you to ask. You truly deserve to marry me. However, I want you to marry me because you love me, not because you trained me in school. I want you to marry me because I'm the person you want to be with and not because you spent money on my education. I want to live with you as your wife and not as a house girl who you trained in school. That's all I ask for. This is why I did what I did so that you will realize that our marriage should be based on the great love we share. It shouldn't be based only on the fact that you trained me in school. I don't want to feel that I married you because I owe you, or to marry you out of pity. I want to marry you because I truly love you and not because you are my benefactor. Sharon said. So what are you saying in essence? That all this was a prank? Judge asked. Yes, it was. Sharon said. At that time, her head was bowed and she was walking close to George. I still love you and I never dumped you. I know you are hot, but I also know you have learned some lessons within these few days. I love you, George, and I can never leave you for any man. Sharon said. She was trying to hug George. Ella was not comfortable with all that was happening, but she watched to see what her brother would do. As Sharon got close to George, he broke off and walked out of the hall. Can you help me beg him? Sharon asked to Ella with tears in her eyes. I'm not promising anything, but I will try. Ella said and followed George. I hate to admit it, but she is right. Ella said to her brother, who was by then sitting in his car outside the event hall meditatively. Don't get me wrong, because of course, you deserve to marry her. You did more than enough for her. But without true love, a marriage won't last. If she marries you out of pity, you two would have problems. If she marries you as a reward for training her in school, then that's not love, you are just friends with benefits. It is love that glues couples together, not sense of entitlement. I know you must have reflected on your love for her within the few days you suffered a heartbreak. If you truly love her, I'm sure your heart knows and you know what to do. Ella said. Inside his heart, George knew Ella was right. Truly, I have had a sense of entitlement towards Sharon. The past few days made me realize I don't own her. I also realized I have hurt you, my sister, Ella, because I was busy chasing after Sharon, not knowing she could wake up and disappoint me. Please forgive me, George said with tears in his eyes. It's okay, George. I understand. Love can make you to do stupid things. You only realize how foolish you were when you suffer a heartbreak. But I know you still love Sharon. So, let's go so you can engage her. I know she is now ready for your ring. Ella said. 6 months later, Sharon and George got married and lived happily ever after. The end. Parrot Queen Stories. Please kindly share, like, and follow Parrot Queen Stories.